I remember the moment so vividly, like it was etched into my mind. It was a regular morning, the kind where the sun filters through the curtains, casting a warm glow across the room. But that day, the light felt different, almost harsh. I was still groggy, trying to shake off the remnants of sleep when she dropped the bombshell. I want to have kids in the next 3 to 4 months. Her words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. I blinked, trying to process what she had just said. We had been together for 6 years, and while we had talked about kids, it was always in the distant future. I had thought we were on the same page, both of us young, ambitious, and focused on our careers. I was 24, just starting to carve out my path, and I knew I wasn't ready to be a father. Not now. Not for another 6 or 7 years. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice steady. That's not possible, I said, my heart racing. We've talked about this before. I'm not ready. She looked at me, her expression shifting from surprise to frustration. It was as if I had shattered a dream she had been holding on to. I could see the conflict brewing in her eyes, the disappointment mixing with something deeper, an urgency that I couldn't quite understand. I'm not using birth control anymore, she declared, her voice firm. You'll just have to deal with it. I felt a chill run down my spine. The weight of her words pressed down on me, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I had never imagined that our relationship would reach this point, where the very foundation of it, our shared dreams and plans, was being challenged so abruptly. Fine, I replied, trying to mask my fear with indifference. But I won't feel comfortable with that. Maybe we can find other ways to be intimate. The truth was, I was terrified. I had never been one to shy away from intimacy, but the thought of becoming a father right now felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down into an abyss. I had ordered a fleshlight, trying to find a way to cope with the situation, to navigate the tension that had suddenly enveloped us. Days turned into weeks, and the conversations about kids didn't stop. They became a monthly ritual, a cycle of hope and despair. Each time, I felt the same knot tightening in my stomach. I wanted to be supportive, to understand her perspective, but my own fears loomed large. I was focused on my career, on building a life that I felt was still in its infancy. Then came that last day, the day when everything escalated. I was at her place, and she looked at me with a determination that I hadn't seen before. I will get pregnant, no matter what, she said, her eyes fierce. You need to be aware of your morning wood. I felt the blood drain from my face. I wasn't a biology expert, but I knew enough to understand the implications of her words. The thought of her trying to trap me into fatherhood sent a wave of panic crashing over me. I had a sleep issue that made waking up a challenge, and the idea that I could be caught off guard in such a monumental way was terrifying. In that moment, I lost control. I screamed, my voice echoing in the small space between us. Enough. I don't feel safe with you. If you think your imaginary kids are more important than me, then find someone else. The words hung in the air, sharp and painful. I could see the hurt flash across her face, and for a moment, I regretted my outburst. But the anger and fear had taken over, drowning out my better judgment. I had said hurtful things, things I couldn't take back. After that, I left her house, retreating to my own space, trying to process the whirlwind of emotions that had just unfolded. I felt a mix of resentment and confusion, a storm brewing inside me. How had we gotten here? How had a simple conversation about the future turned into a battlefield? Days passed, and I tried to reach out, to find a way to mend the rift that had formed between us, but the silence was deafening. Then, one evening, I received a message from her on WhatsApp. She had left my house, and her words were filled with regret. I went overboard, she wrote. I deeply regret my attitude. Reading her message, I felt a flicker of hope, but it was quickly overshadowed by my own resentment. I wanted to forgive her, to move past the hurt, but the pain of that moment lingered like a shadow. I was torn between my love for her and the fear that had taken root in my heart. I spent countless nights lying awake, replaying our conversations, trying to understand where we had gone wrong. I wanted to believe that we could find a way back to each other, but the fear of losing myself in the process loomed large. I thought about the future we had envisioned together, the dreams we had shared. I wanted to be a father one day, but I needed to be ready. I needed to feel secure in my own life before I could take on the responsibility of raising a child. As I sat in the quiet of my room, I realized that this wasn't just about kids. It was about our relationship, our communication, and the paths we were on. I had to confront my own fears and insecurities to find a way to express them without pushing her away. In the end, I knew I had to make a choice. I could either hold onto my resentment and let it fester, or I could take a step toward healing. I wanted to reach out to her, to have an honest conversation about our fears and dreams. But as I sat there, staring at my phone, I couldn't shake the doubt that lingered in my mind. Was I the one in the wrong? Had I overreacted? Or was I justified in my feelings? I took a deep breath, knowing that whatever happened next would shape the course of our relationship. I had to be brave to confront the uncertainty that lay ahead. And so, I picked up my phone, my heart racing as I typed out a message. Can we talk? In that moment, I realized that love isn't just about the good times. It's about navigating the storms together, facing the fears, and finding a way to grow. Subscribe for more stories.